Greetings, gamers. This is Jared Leopold coming back with another episode of Honorbound actual playtesting. We've got our three members after a 2 week break. Something happened last episode. In fact, a lot of somethings happened last episode, and we are left picking up the pieces to continue upon our saga. How it began is that they were hired to go with a drilling operation to come back with a mysterious energy. Well, not necessarily mysterious, but as an energy source that they recorded they hadn't previously seen before. It's a contract open to a lot of different people. They're not the only ones going after it. However, when they got to the planet, it's inhabited by some people. Uh, they break into this mound. It ends up being a terraforming bunker by Raven Tech, who not accidentally, on purpose, genetically changed the people that were doing the terraforming, and that's the natives that they met. That's who they met that were out there that were trying to guard the turn of these like crab tar people and that worship uh, the Old Testament type deity Denru, that who they have not met and hopefully don't ever get to. They have just drilled their way into the temple, which is the terraforming mainframe area. However, it is not the terraforming capsule itself. That, as they discovered when they're going through, is of course that's fell into or is in the place of the volcano. And that is where also the main part of the energy sources, there's a large batch of it over there. While they were searching here, they were attacked by a steam meter when they opened up the door that said do not open. It also is the way where down that tunnel, also, which they will do more research to find this out, and I can tell them right now, is a drill shaft going towards the volcano all the way down that way. So it's like kind of a back door into the volcano to try and get to the terraforming area. However, disaster happened as Gareth Carr and Lycia, the um, let's say mercenary with a heart of gold that was rescued by Gareth Carr earlier after her ship got blown to smithereens. Once they landed into the atmosphere of this planet, got saved. Both of them were viciously attacked. Gareth Carr actually perished at the scene from the attack of the Steamander, and Lycia, fellow Harvin, is on death's door. Not dead yet, but is quickly approaching that. As Ludwika has a fleeting idea that Gareth Carr's consciousness might possibly have fused with the spark in some way, and his consciousness may have gone somewhere. Whereas Mr. Crystal uh, was the one that ended up, I think, driving the Steamander out. Oh, no, you guys put it down, if I remember correctly. Yeah, put it down. And you are now left in the aftermath. So, what I'd like to do is go around in the aftermath of the situation. I will start with my characters that are there, the NPCs. Goldine, the science officer from the Plunder Donkey, the like looks out of the laboratory that's been darkened, but the lights have now suddenly you guys have powered up the energy and the lights into this building. Goldine is just kind of a shock, kind of a yellowish gold scales for a Caxian merfolk. Very pale looking. His thirst for adventure has been completely slaked after seeing the violence that can happen as he's just kind of shook. He's a geologist at heart, and that's all he really knows. Royce has rappelled down from the opening in the ceiling along with the hauler uh, automaton Mixie onto the ground floor as Royce is trying to take he's kind of the leader of when they're on away missions, trying to get things in order, trying to figure out like what happened and what's going on, trying to put his finger on what the best thing is to do. I'm going to start with Ludwicka. This is the moment that the Covenant changes forever. There was a before this moment and then an after this moment. So far, it's been pretty high adventure and escapades and fun. And this is the first real brush with mortality. How is Ludwicka internalizing this? How does she feel, and what is she going to do to take steps forward?
Well, I think based on the fact that I was helping Gareth to transfer, hopefully transfer his um intelligence, I at this moment am trying to like compartmentalize that and just turn on my science investigator using my knowledge brain right now and not have the emotional connection of the mortality, the brush with mortality. And I'm just trying to track whatever really quickly, like typing in, trying to track what happened.
Okay, sounds good. Mr. Crystal, you are a little bit familiar with violence, but maybe not one that has ended so permanently.
So personally, um, am I right in remembering that Gareth Carr showed like wiring and robotic bits during this experience?
Yes, at the end, it seems that he is possibly AI.
I'm Mr. Crystal's in full on denial. He's like absolutely not processing this. This is not Gareth. This was some sort of cyborg that he created. And so we are okay. It's okay. This wasn't him. You should. Yep.
Okay,
Yep. Full
perfect.
on denial in this moment.
Uh, Lycia is still lies on the floor near the where the door where her body was crushed by the steam mander on the floor. She is near death as she's just having a hard time breathing, broken ribs. And she is just kind of vaguely motioning for anyone to help her. Royce is
I'll,
just like,
I'll,
can anyone help her?
Mr. Crystal will run over.
Okay. Uh, Lycia looks up at you and like she kind of grabs you around the neck, her hand bloodied. She is on her way out unless there's something you can do to maybe try and help fix her or patch her up in some way. But she, before you can do any action, she goes like, "Hmm, I was, uh, if I don't make it, just wanted you to know that the Warhawks are going to turn on you. I was not from the other ship. I was an infiltrator. Uh, And you have one amongst you that can I think can still be fixed. Make sure you fix it, purge Gareth Carr's body. Uh, and she starts to gasp and gurgle as blood's backing up in her throat.
Do I see this happening even though I'm like distracted by trying to track what happened to Gareth?
Yes.
I'm gonna try to do to her what I did to Gareth, or what I facilitated with Gareth. I want to try to like transfer whatever's going on into a computer, into a system.
Okay. This is going to be a case where yes, you can attempt it, but it's gonna be like a 21.
Sure.
Like, because she
Um,
is not the same thing as Gareth.
sure.
She's just got some similarities.
Sure. I don't think necessarily that she's like connected to Raven Tech. Like she may not be in the system. Like I remember when I was trying to help Gareth, part of it was that I was looking for his file.
Yep.
Okay. Then I will try.
Okay.
Is there anything Mr. Crystal can do to help?
um
I mean, it
I
is
guess my brain would
possible.
say like connect the red wire to the red wire and like the connect the wires correctly.
But
Match the
she
wires while
is
I do the
sh-
typing.
she is mostly Harvin.
Oh, okay. I thought she
Would
was
a
also AI, or did I make that up?
No,
I think I
she is.
suggested it. I suggested it
Yeah.
as a twist. It didn't
It.
get taken. Never mind. Ignore me. My brain took that as it's a reality. But nope, he did not take my twist. I'm there. Never mind. I don't try to put her
Okay.
consciousness into a computer.
in that case, I'm gonna roll her on her side so she doesn't choke on her blood. Like try to put pressure on the wound. And is that sciences?
You can do a weave, vigor weave. It's gonna be like a doctor check.
Oh, okay, okay, all right. Yeah, stay with me.
Yep. You need 12. Oh no. Well, actually, easy come, easy go.
Yeah, I guess I burn 3 points and then get two back.
Okay.
Stay with me. Yeah, I'm just gonna pump it all in there. Like I don't know from the roll. I clearly don't know what I'm doing, but through sheer force of storyteller will, I'm gonna keep her hanging on.
Perfect. Yeah, he was using. Yeah, so when you use these saga points, you are telling a bigger story beyond what your regular capabilities are. So this is just like something that maybe you remembered at some point in time, right? You're like wrapping her up as much as possible to keep her innards on her inside. And you think you have her stabilized. She is not near. She's not going to die. She did pass out from the pain, and she is stabilized at this moment. She is going to need time to heal at this moment. Ludwika, give me a check. You were trying to track down the consciousness. I think because this is a closed system, but there is interference as you're working. As you the volcano, the reason that the gravitational pulls are weird because the magnetic poles keep flipping, right? So every once in a while the gravity goes out. So talking communications from planet surface to orbit are very staticky at best.
Sure.
And when there's a lot of ash in the air from any volcano activity, it's impossible. Now on the lower end, there's a lot easier to click through things. It is a closed system, but because of the magnet pulls, it is making it a little more difficult to try and track everything like you normally would be able to. So I'm going to give you a probably a weave
I would
check.
say we computers is what I was kind of thinking.
Yes. Yeah, exactly right. You got to get a
Okay.
12 because of the interference of the magnetics.
Do I have anything? Do I? No, I took care of my. I'm not flustered from or whatever it was, smitten anymore.
Correct. Yeah, you are no
Was I
longer.
thinking I was thinking I still had some kind of detriment to my rolls, but
No, I think you. Yeah, I think you did clear everything. Looking at your character, I would also be um inquiry too,
okay.
because you're trying to
Um,
find his consciousness. So
I
we've
think at this moment I'm envisioning. Sure, I see what you're saying, but um, weave wits. I'm envisioning like my computer knowledge and my knowledge of the Raven Tech system specifically.
Okay. Yeah.
So weave wits seems to make sense to me.
Okay. Sounds good. Oh, ho, ho.
Nailed it.
Yeah, you did. All right.
Also gave you lots of tension, but
Yeah, that's
nailed it.
nice. That's nice for me. Um. Okay. Mixie, the hauler automaton for the MV Plunder Donkey, has been skittering back and forth in this room and been hovering over Gareth Carr's body. Um, and in this moment, it does what to let her know that part of the consciousness is in there.
Ooh.
So the robot is letting us know.
It is, yes. So here's the best way to describe it. You found that the bulk of the consciousness, or what the computer programming pattern looks like that makes up Gareth Carr in the weave and the lace, the bulk of it had to go to a larger system that could handle it, basically, right? And that, of course, is to the terraforming core, which of course is in the volcano because we don't want anything to be easy. However, there's possibly a fleeting bit that did not go there.
Uh, Jared, can you just describe Mixie for us real quick?
Yes, Mixie is a about 4 feet tall, 3 feet wide, 4 feet long, 6 legs, stout, very stout, plasteel legs, not multi-jointed, okay, with big flat plates on the bottom of his feet. Has a dip in its back for hauling, and on its front, someone has painted a face on it. So then you know which way, like what would be the front, what would be the back side. What does that face look like that's painted on there, Eric?
Uh, kind of like a jack-o'-lantern. It has like really like crude like cutouts for like a mouth, and like just these weird triangles that sort of make up the eyes. Um, and
Is it
whoever did this did it real quick. It ain't art. It's like someone was bitching about it. How do I know? Where's its face? What's the face? So someone just sort of just threw something out there real quick.
probably Royce, right? Just sick of
Probably
hearing
right.
about it. Royce is just like, fine, fine, here you go.
Has a face. Okay. Um, as Mixie is up near Gareth Carr's body, uh, Ludwika sees the middle leg on its left side. Uh, the there's like the main leg that connects to the big flat plate, right? And off of that comes up this other little appendature, right? This other little like tinier hand that can like manipulate things a little bit better than just its plate stuff, right? Kind of like
Mhm.
General Grievous, like his arms pop in like to two different arms, kind of like that. I love a good General Grievous reference too. Um, so Ludwika, you see the other little arm like pop off, and uh, on Garrett's body, uh, two things. You see him take his grappling spike launcher and then move it up and like drop it into the little has like a little toolbox sort of thing that can open up on him. Takes that. Goes back in, takes out a fedora, and drops that into the box too. Gareth brought it with him. He wasn't supposed to, but he did anyway. Then Mixie takes Gareth's whole body and essentially puts it in the back. And looks at Ludwig and says, we should take it and put it into the craft up there to keep it safe.
Royce hears this and goes like, I've never heard that bloody thing say more than 3 words at a time.
Bloody thing.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Garrett's gonna want to figure out how to fix that. I'm assuming he's operating it from the ship, right? Like Iron Man style, like.
Goldine
Because
is the
Garrett's
only
not a-
one that seems to pick up on this, and kind of goes over and goes like, "Yes, I can, yeah, I'll just work on this for Mr. Carr. That's fine. If we can get that up there, Royce, can we get that up there? Maybe I can work on it." Royce is like, I, "Yeah, be nearby if we have any questions."
Keep it safe.
Didn't know he had something like this. He's kept it a secret all along. So I need one.
Yeah. We'll have to talk. Goldine just kind of tugs on his fin a little bit, like, yeah, we'll make sure to. He just turns and like gets one of those, cables, gets it around Gareth Carr's body, winches it up, and he goes up with it. And his days of adventuring at this point, he is done. Um, before he goes up there, and he's like, okay, hey, I found some stuff in the laboratory you're going to look at. So, in the room you're in, you have your main room, okay? The danger door, which is shut and resealed right now, easily reopened at this point, though. You have another room that has a little glow coming from underneath the door. That is a storage room. The laboratory, and then finally across the way from the danger door is a big like cylinder, which is where the drill was originally used to drill down to the volcano, but that's been busted up and is no longer operational at this point. Um, so, Intrepid, do you guys wish to continue on with this escapade?
Think so.
All right, then what are we doing, action team?
So I figured out like most of Gareth is in Mixie, but some is not.
Nope, most of Gareth is in the terraforming capsule.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood that.
Which is in
And
the
by the way,
volcano.
no one's told Mr. Crystal at all. Like, I had no idea that this whole AI thing's been. This is like a whole subplot that Mr. Crystal's been like out to lunch on. So you're like grabbing his person, and you're like tracking him in the system, and I don't even know what you're doing. You're just like playing on the computer. I got nothing. So I think I'm just gonna stay with where everything's fine. So
Yep. I
I'm
assume you take Lycia's body gets put up there too, or not body.
Right.
She's alive. Uh, she's All right,
It
so
is
Three
still her
bodies.
body being put up there, but
yeah,
she's not
Lycia,
dead. It's not a
Ly-
corpse. It is her physical living body.
Lycia and Gareth Carr are both up into the Plunder Donkey dropship along with Gold Dean. Um,
Mhm.
Royce has a scanner out and goes like, "Okay." And he points to the room that's got the glow coming from underneath the door. Is like, "That's that's the stuff we're looking for."
Yes.
I'm not going in there.
I mean, you just need it. We just need to go and get it, right? Like, am I understanding that right? Like, it's something. It's just right in there. I mean, I'll go take a look.
All right, Mr. Crystal, while Ludwig is working on the computer and Mixie's just kind of hovering is probably the best possible word to say right now. Um, and Royce like has your back, Mr. Crystal, but like from like 15 feet back, right? He's got like this reader that he's looking at, and he's in his other hands, he's got a badly outdated pistol from pre-war times. Like it's just he's never really needed it, and he's had it, but this is not his normal fare. It's like steady boy, be careful. You go up to the storage door, and it's just a simple push button, and it'll slide away. Do you just go in?
Uh, double check my uh was it kind of like a big shotgun kind of piece? Make sure it's loaded and ready, and yeah, let's open it up.
Okay, perfect. Uh, Nothing very exciting in here. It's just a kind of hollowed out storage room that's mostly earthen. So this door opens up, and they dug into a storage room. And what's inside, however, there is fascinating. Vibrant red in color. About you see these orbs, about this big, like about as big as a beach ball. They're all cracked open, jagged cracks in them. In the It's about 10 centimeters thick, and they've all been just broken open, but they all have this bright color and a warmth coming from them. You look around the storage, there's nothing else in the storage um, here, and you're just like, Royce behind you is like, yep, yeah, that's it. That's it. What, is it safe?
Yeah. Does it feel safe? Is like a lot of heat or anything coming off of these, or is it? I'll just slowly approach.
There's warmth without it being hot coming forward. Yeah, as far as you know, everything looks good. You want to keep going and like touch it. Do you want to touch
Yeah,
it?
I'll go up to the nearest one and look inside. I can look inside the crack. Are these eggs? Are
You
they
take
just stones?
Great question. Give me a lore 9, probably wits lore. But I would, if you have a different narrative thing for lore, you can use it.
10, and there's a tension point.
Nice. Okay. All right. Um, yeah. You're like, uh, yeah. Your first instinct is to say that they're eggs, that have already been hatched as they're cracked open. You look around, you don't see anything else, but you were near this kind of heat before. This These are steamander eggs or creation something. You're not quite sure. You hear Royce from behind you going like, well, he's doing calculations as quickly as he can on his little. It's like, I mean, if we grab all of it, it's enough for a one-way trip.
We need to go to the core.
Well, maybe we start with this, and maybe you start loading these in Ludwika, and I start looking around. Maybe check out the core.
I
Yeah.
can. I can go. I can go with you.
Is there another door out of this room that would lead to like the core, or is that if we went through like that steamander door?
Yeah, danger door.
Okay.
Now, that being said, you've been on the computer, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that behind the danger door is actually um goes for a little bit, opens up off to the right. They dug in, that's where their original housing units were. And so obviously they thought it was completely safe at one point in time. And then the tunnel itself just keeps on going down into the volcano. So, like, obviously it wasn't originally a steamander, like whatever. It could be just as attached to the volcano. You're not quite sure what other kind of dangers might be there, if any. Now, that being said, there is a breach into that tunnel further down the tunnel.
Okay.
Unrecorded, don't know what it is, but there's a breach.
Not much. Not much time.
Yes, I think if Mixie is telling us we need to go down there, I think we need to listen. I think I've gathered that Mr. Crystal does not know what's going on with Gareth, but I know that I should listen to Mixie if we want Gareth back in any capacity.
Yes.
Well,
Mr. Crystal, if you feel the need to escort oversee the eggs getting taken back, I can go with Mixie into the core. Unless we all want to stick together.
I, well,
Stick.
yeah, we
Stick
can
together.
do that.
Stick together.
I mean, yeah, would they be able to load without me? I guess there's not many enough people left, really.
Uh, Getting the feel for these sample shells or whatever they are exactly, only Mixie can lift them. More than one. Like Mr. Crystal, what's your vigor? Oh, okay. Everyone that's got a vigor of 3 can lift one half of a shell. But Mr. Crystal with a vigor of 4, right? Um, you can lift a whole one. So you guys can make pretty quick work of this, honestly.
You think should we load these quick and then check the core, or should we check the core just to make sure nothing comes up out of that breach?
I'm fine either way, but I think we need to work fast.
Work. Work fast.
Work fast. Let's work fast.
Okay, so you
Load
guys,
quick.
Yeah, let's load some things up and then run into the core.
Let's load quick and then get to the core. Then, yeah.
okay. All right. Royce is now in his element. This is what he's used to. This is what he's good at. He takes kind of brief thing of what's going on. It's like, all right, you, let's go, move around stuff in about an hour's time. Now, however, during that time, there's been an explosion somewhere, and you're like, okay. It kind of the dust settles and falls off from everything around here, as you're not quite sure what that explosion was that upset the room, but you quickly get everything into the plunder donkey. And are you set during that time? Do you want to do anything else before you go down danger door, as it were? Okay.
So
Get down there.
I want to make sure I have any like Rachel thinks of like a USB or like a backup hard drive or whatever if I think I'm going to need to like load something into a system. Does that make
Well,
sense?
Mixie
If
has that
Mixie will to be that. Is that
Mixie
word?
has that type of capability, or you could bring Gareth Carr's corpse.
Which already left. So we're
Okay. I mean, it's just up in the drop ship,
I know,
but
but it
yeah.
will just Mixie is now going to be Gareth in my
Okay.
brain.
Okay.
Well,
Perfect.
Mixie has enough storage.
All right. Royce is sitting there and is like, look, you fulfilled your you fulfilled your contract. We can go right now. You
You
don't
gotta
have to
check
do
the core
this.
first.
Because at this point you're like, wait a minute, Royce thinks that you're just going down to the core to get more of this energy reading.
Right. Uh, we have fulfilled this contract, but we have other research at play that we need to go down to the core for.
Look, you can't be just taking my bot, my automaton, and going off to some place that's not on contract. If you're looking to see this thing through, I'll go with you to get more. But I think look, the contract only said enough to get there. Doesn't say nothing about getting back.
Um,
Does Mixie have any dirt on Royce? Like if I go through Mixie's database, the data banks.
Uh, Good question. Give me a check. Go wits, because you're trying to navigate someone else's brain.
All right. If you guys like my rolling before, just wait. Whoa! Mixie's awesome.
Oh, dang. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Royce, fantastic worker. Um, Super honest, but he does skim profits, but only to put back into the ship.
um,
I'm gonna go up to him.
okay.
Uh, there's gonna be a little switch in the tone, and I'm gonna try to get close enough to Royce that only Royce can hear Mixie saying this. And this is so Gareth Carr of Mixie. Uh, she's Mixie's not gonna be good at this. Wants to essentially uh, make it sound like it's a playback of something that Mixie recorded Royce saying it to somebody else in confidence, but it's actually just Gareth trying to mimic Royce's voice through Mixie's vocalator.
Okay, I need you to roll a d6 for me, please.
Oof. You take the Harvin out of the. Anyway.
You can take the consciousness out of the Harvin, but you can't
Yeah.
take the Harvin out of the. Yeah, all right.
Yeah. Got a 6.
Okay, you got a 6? Okay, awesome. Oh my goodness. Okay, first things first. I need you to do a check. The check.
Oh, the check.
Yeah.
Uh,
What does that mean?
You want
okay.
me to look it up for you again?
I think I got it. No, I know what it is. I just wanted to make sure that I know. One of the stats I know for sure that Mixie has. It's the other one that is a Gareth Carr stat, I believe, that I still get to use or not.
Yes, you do. You do
Yeah,
get to use Gareth Carr for this one.
I know what it is.
Okay, I will roll first since technically I'm the attacker.
Okay. What you keeping?
Um, I'll keep one. That's all I got.
So 12.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Oh, not so good.
Can I use my I've got a bad feeling about this?
Okay. All right. So you know what to do here. Um, you see, Royce's face just go a little bit ashen as he hears the playback. The other, Ludwika and Mr. Crystal, you don't hear this unless you want to make a check to hear it. Um, but like the pure look of confusion in like Mixie, you can hear this of he just goes like, "You're not supposed to be able to do that." As he just kind of stumbles back, he's like, Royce turns to you two, and goes like, "Take the damn thing. It's cursed anyway. Go ahead and take it." Ever since we got that blasted thing, it's just been one contract blowing up after another.
Well, we still completed this contract.
Just bring my bot back to me. If things get hairy, we're out of here.
Royce,
Understood.
before you go, uh, you need to know. I was warned that the Warhawks are going to turn on us. So keep an eye out as you go back up there. I don't
What?
know. Yeah, when I helped her before she passed out, she told me that the Warhawks are going to turn on us. So I don't know what that means. She passed out, but be aware that there might be risk.
How would she know that? Unless she's one of them, lad.
I don't even know that she was telling the truth. I was too busy trying to stop her from bleeding out. So I don't know if Nails is gonna turn on you or what, but that was what she said. So just keep an eye out just in case. She
Fuck.
might have been, for all I know, she might have been trying to turn you against them, but I don't think so. She seemed. I don't know why she would have said that with her last breath, other than unless it was true.
Oh, for God's sakes. I'll get it out of her. Royce turns and stalks back to the lift to get back up into the plunder donkey. Just bring my bot back in one piece. You now find just the two of you, Ludwika, Mr. Crystal, along with a curiouser and curiouser uh, Mixie the automaton as you get ready to go in. And how would you like to do that? The main room, the lights flicker on and off. The glow from the storage room has dissipated. The laboratory is still a little bit darkened. The hallway down is still sealed. What would you like to do?
It's just the three of us right now.
And we have to go through the do not open door.
Which is open right now still, right?
Nope.
It got closed up again.
Yeah.
Mixie goes over to it,
Okay.
and you hear very much Gareth Carr's voice coming through the vocalator. It's just the three of us. And he says, we gotta go. My my consciousness is ah! I want my voice back. I want my voice back. Can't talk.
We're working on it, but we also have to survive doing it.
In the core.
Understood.
In the core.
Steamanders. Steamanders in the core as well. Steamanders.
No, Gareth, bye-bye. Gareth, bye-bye real soon.
All of
Gareth,
us, bye-bye, real soon if we
Gareth,
aren't prepared.
we can hear your signal coming through, but you're breaking up a little bit, buddy.
Nope. Sherlock.
Can I look around real quick and see if there's any, like the posters that are like, in case you encounter a steamander, this is what you do, or anything like that. That's just like a notes of like, make sure to throw this bait, or like anything that, like, I don't know. I imagine if you're in like a place where there's safety hazards, they have the like steps for dealing with the safety hazards.
Sure. I there might be information like that in the laboratory, but you're not quite sure.
In case of Steamander break glass, and there's like a huge
Exactly. Like
cannon.
steamanders like eggs. I don't know. Like,
Well, they didn't seem so tough. I mean, with Gareth guiding Mixie here, he can just have it smash through and then pin something against the wall, and I can take care of it. So if we need to,
true.
yeah, let's roll. Let's roll. Let's roll.
Go.
Mixie's a
Okay.
battering ram, and we've got some guns. So let's do this thing.
Sounds good to me.
All right, who's in front?
Me.
Okay. Mixie cannot open the door, so we're gonna open the door for Mixie.
Yeah, I'll go open the door.
Okay. All right, open the door. Mixie go in, then Ludwika, and then Mr. Crystal, or is Mr. Crystal going to jump in after Mixie?
You have the big gun. I think you should back us up. Be ready to shoot if something's coming from behind.
Yeah, I can take her.
Okay. All right. You hear behind you as you start to go down into the tunnel, a little sound as the aperture to the dropship close up as Royce goes on full defense mode. You're not quite sure how long you've been down here, between loading up the cargo and getting everything working in and what you've all discovered. But you remember that it's 12-hour day cycles going from incredibly hot to walkable wearing a suit outside. Not like it doesn't get cold, but it just becomes a little bit more bearable. You're still in the incredibly hot part of it's their night that's incredibly hot as they're going. You step into the hallway that has a pretty severe slant to it, going about 45 degrees down. Begin your way down. You get to about 100 meters or so, and you get to where the lodgings are supposed to be. Instead of a little brief hallway that goes in there, you unfortunately have. Whoops, went too far. The living quarters. The hallway has been completely collapsed. It would take you a big drill or a couple days of just digging by hand to clear out everything on here. So either it was destroyed on purpose or it collapsed under from all the earthquakes. You're not quite sure. on the opposite wall from the hallway that goes to the next lodging is a crude drawing. Underneath with the sign of the Ravenclaw on it, but then around it was like these little wavy arms, and then big straight lines coming from it. And underneath is written, "Praise Demru." The corridor keeps going down. Do you wish to continue? Or do something else? All right. You continue on for, you've been walking for about over a half hour, maybe closer to 45 minutes at this time. Not rushing forward, but every once in a while you get those gravitational bumps where you kind of float for half a second before you land back on the ground. Except for Mixie. Mixie seems to be totally unaffected by this due to its density in staying uh, on the ground. Your other two are definitely affected by this. You get closer and closer to where you remember you're seeing on the match where the breach took place. About every 100 yards or whatever, you see another crude drawing of Demru, praise Demru. And it's just like an eye with like light straight lines coming out of it. You know, praise
Do any of us
Demru.
recognize this? Does Mixie have data on Demru as we're just like walking and talking, not like stopping to analyze, but just like, who's Demru?
If anyone wants to do a lore check, they can. Well, honestly, I'm going to tell you this right now. No, you don't. It's either a
Okay.
localized pagan deity or something else.
Okay.
Well, these crab tars were like ex employees, right? Or current employees or mutated employees. Is
I think
any
the
of this
latter, yeah.
and any of these symbols lining up with any of the projects they might have been working on where that's like left in their brain? Like something, some piece of some scientific goal is sticking with them and they're turned Demru's like the embodiment of that. I mean, is there anything?
Do I remember any symbology from working there that would align with this eye with the lines?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, it's localized as far as you can tell.
Just checking if there was like a guy in charge. The CEO's name is Demru or something like
Sure. Sure. You're not making any sort of connection like that.
that.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No. Oh, there we go. All right. You continue down the hallway, remembering where there was a breach somewhere along the hallway. You find the breach, and it just seems to be a natural rock crevice into the side of the wall. Completely dark, just wide enough to be able to squeeze Mixie through. But even with Mixie, you'll have to like take your middle section and like kind of skinny it up, yeah, to try and get through. Do you wish to go down into that, or do you wish to continue on? Mr. Crystal, you hear a humming coming from the crevice. It sounds a little like home.
If you two want to go, I mean, the computer things. I mean, honestly, not my thing. If we've got to be getting close. If you two want to go on, I can keep guard here.
If we're gonna fight, we're gonna need you.
I mean, wouldn't yeah?
Like
All right,
stick together. So
all
if
right.
there's something you will need to check, we will wait for you.
We can stop. We can stop. We can stop when we come back.
I'll listen a little closer. Walk up to the breach and listen a little bit harder.
Okay. I need you to give me. Wait, let me check your character sheet real quick. Okay, you're still aggressive. Okay. Um, see. Okay. I am going to do this 46. Oh, for goodness sakes. Okay. Well, that was terrible. If you
That was
want
pretty
to
bad.
roll, you can a mysticism valor check to
No, you can't.
avoid something. Well, I'll tell you
You just
exactly
like,
what it is. I'll tell you why you're rolling. Um, hey, you did it. You got
yay! Yeah.
um, you uh, do you remember the assassins that came on board your ship at the very beginning on there?
Oh,
The
yeah.
frequency that you're getting matches the assassin's um, frequency level, and there is something more, just more. There is a feeling of power radiating coming from this that Ludwika and Mixie do not feel. But the only time you've ever felt a power source this large was from your compound back home.
Are we talking like weave power? Like,
Yep. And a little something
what-
else too.
do I have a feel like with the rhythm of it, the echoes of it, how far away it might be?
Sure, I can give you that. Yeah, just because you're kind of familiar with this feeling, it's not really that far. Just a little quick little trundle down the hallway or down the crevice.
I think we should check this out. I think there's something down here that we need to be aware of. I think there's something really, um, something's calling us. I know you can't hear it because of it's an Iliad harmonization, but we should check this out. It's not far.
Oh, okay.
Yes. I'm along for the ride at this point.
Okay. So yeah, everyone's going, or we're splitting up the party again.
No.
Which, by the way, Aaron, that little clip got so far it's at 1,700 views of you talking about splitting up the party. So people like that one. So good job. All right, fine. Don't split up the party this time.
At the
Um,
party. Are there comments on it too?
yeah, a couple of them. Yeah.
Don't split the party.
All right, you, Mitzi, since you're going first, you kind of to be able to get down, and it's just this. It's a natural rock crevice tunnel sort of thing. As you're making your way down there, the earth shifts once again. You cannot tell if it's from explosions or from the volcano or any active work like that at all. I need everyone to give me a vigor valor check. Actually, before this happens, so Mixie's in front. The person who's in front in second place actually can give me a uh, inquiry, a vigor inquiry check.
Who would that be? I'm sorry, I missed that.
So that'd be Mixie and Ludwika.
Could do a vigor inquiry instead of a vigor valor.
Yes, yeah.
I mean, it's the
Because I'm
same
going to give.
number, but I think I'm
Well,
about inquiry. So,
okay. You don't have to worry about making it. Mixie got it,
oh, okay.
and a second point. Um, Mixie, the tunnel's about to collapse, and forward is going to be the quickest way. You with your tremor sense, you can make it to the cavern that's in front of you, but you can't make it back to the hallway if you run forward.
So, and I'll just move as quickly as I can down the out of the falling horrible place.
Ludwika,
Mhm. What do I do? Was I still supposed to do a roll even if I wasn't doing the inquiry?
no, you don't have to do the roll. Nope.
Any roll. I don't have to do the valor athletic the valor one
No,
either?
no. What
Okay.
happened is Mixie was like, "Hey," well, no, Mixie said what said, and then ran forward. What are you gonna do?
I will follow.
Okay, Mr. Crystal. All right, you
Let's do
shuffle
it.
your way quickly as the crevice starts to collapse and tremble, and finally fully sending dust up into the air. Who's going to have a light source, or who's going to have it? All of you can turn one on if you want to, but
Yeah, Mr. Crystal has one.
okay. All right.
Do I? I don't know.
Yeah, it would be on your exploration suits, right?
Oh.
And Mixie's going to have one built in anyway. So, yep. All right.
I'll turn my headlamps on then, if I can.
Around your jackal type face.
Yeah, comes out with my teeth.
Yeah, you know that you're in not a very big room, maybe 20 feet in diameter, maybe between 20 and 30 feet in diameter. There are pillars of crystal, six of them, that are holding up the roof of this open cavern, so you know it's not in any danger of falling. As you enter and start to look around, the pillars glow a soft red, kind of flickering on, and the whole thing kind of lights up the room into kind of revolving red and white lights, kind of spinning around, and it forms almost an amphitheater with perfect acoustics. Around the room is a repeated holy symbol. You guys are going to have to set this scene. Uh, Here's my three questions. What is the repeated holy symbol look like? Why does the red planet affect the Iliad? And what is the holy order guarding? As you're standing there, as the lights go around, they form almost like a hollow vid thing in the center of the room. And it details this like kind of mission statement sort of deal of the lore of a holy order that has given itself to protect from something. I have answers for all of these that I will throw out, and you guys can either accept them or not. This is kind of like doing twists. The only one I don't have an answer for is like, would anyone want to jump in and tell me what the holy symbol looks like? This is a forgotten order of guardians.
which would be pre any uh, of the scientists showing up.
Yes.
Definitely way before that. Okay.
I'm envisioning, and you guys can take it or leave it if you have other ideas. Some type of like woven, like maybe like a Celtic knot-ish kind of something. Whether that makes like a shape that you guys can help me determine or throw this out. But like, yeah, I'm envisioning some kind of like knotted symbol that's kind of like woven in swirls and knots. If that makes sense.
Um, yes, I can give you kind of an idea of a picture here too. Yeah, I like it. So it maybe kind of forms like a half crescent with like knots coming off
Cool.
that form points
Sure.
on the back of it, sort of thing. Kind of a Celtic.
I was gonna say I'm just googling Celtic knot and was gonna put them in the chat,
Yeah, please do.
but it can be like anything. Like it doesn't have to be that specifically, or any of these specifically, or it could be one of these, or it could be
Yeah.
something inspired by one of these. But that's what I'm envisioning is something along those lines. A woven maze-like symbol.
Yeah, perfect. So in this little kind of hollow vid that's just playing silently in the middle of the room, so you're all just kind of watching it and wonder, how does the red planet affect Iliad? Would you like me to throw out my theory first, or do
Sure.
you want to? I don't want to affect what you guys say is the problem.
Right.
I'll put one out there, but I'd love to hear others. It's not just the the red planet in and of itself; it's that it's absorbing the weave from the space all around it, like a black hole. But instead of for light or with gravity, it's just pulling in and presumably consuming the weave, threatening to pull it in from everywhere and destroy it. And the Iliad can feel the pull of it away from them.
Yeah, love it. I also have on there that the Iliad, while they're also feeling it weakened, also can act as a kind of localized hotspot for the red planet. So, like, because they have the ability to work more with the weave, to like be a little bit more ingrained with it. That also means, though, that they have the ability to be ingrained with the anti form of it. And so they are most affected by it, but they're also can be the harbingers of it as well.
Yeah, I like that.
And then the final is, what is the holy order guarding here? You want me just to show you if you don't have any ideas? Here, I'll show you what it looks like, and then you have to tell me what it does. All right, this makes for a thrilling. There we go. It is a glaive about 9 feet long, with 3 feet of it just being a blade with a laser edge. In the middle of the handle, it breaks out into that kind of spiky half moon with a ruby red type of gem suspended in the middle of it. What does that do? And why would you need an order to guard it? And what does it have to do with the red planet?
I mean, based on what we were saying about the Iliads being like a hotspot or whatever word you used, and it being red and all of that, it feels like it's some type of conduit, right? Like that facilitates that process or like brings the signal that then on this planet gets it out. I don't know. Throwing that out there.
So you think this weapon actually brings forth the power of the red planet?
I don't know.
Oh, and they're trying to keep it so no one else can use it. Oh,
So
interesting.
it
They're
doesn't
they're
affect
locking it away.
the
So it's
Iliads
like a
on the.
little isolated thing that can like suck the weave out of things, like on a smaller scale.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah. Okay.
That's horrible. That's a little dangerous.
A little
It's
crystal like makes me feel like just based on what we were saying about Iliads, like it's like a little piece of an Iliad. Is that too dark?
no,
It's like
no, not at
it's
all.
like a
I
piece
th-
that broke off of a red Iliad that is now like a
yeah,
conduit.
I
Yeah.
think actually it's maybe like an old forgotten hero for the Iliad, a champion for good and purity, absorbed this, and this is a part of him that's left, him or her. As you're watching this play out in the middle of the room, a pair of eyes flash open on the far side of the wall. There's no other place, there's no other ways to leave. The eyes simply watch you, kind of watching what you're going to do and what you're thinking about. Mr. Crystal, you feel that is the source of the power that you are feeling.
Two quick questions, and I'm going to
Yes.
step forward. Yeah. I couldn't help but notice that the shape of the glaive with the light coming off it was that similar to the eye symbol that we saw, or are the eyes that we're seeing now the same shape of the eye symbol we saw earlier? Are there any relation between any of those things?
Good question. The eyes on the wall do not look like any of the drawn eyes in the hallway. Okay. These eyes are more like square in like, you know how sometimes your light catches a glare off there and it looks like kind of plain? Looks like that, but they're square. Okay. Those are the eyes on the wall. And the, I mean, maybe for your first question, you're not quite sure, but maybe.
Yeah, I'm gonna step forward and start harmonizing.
Okay.
I mean, it felt like home. It felt like that same tone. I'm gonna start echoing it back, harmonize with it.
Okay.
Maybe as a form of greeting and invitation.
As you step forward, trying to find the right harmony to match with the source that you feel, a voice echoes back into the hallway on your harmony frequency. To the other, well, to Ludwika, it sounds like a high ringing in your ear. To Mixie, it is shorting out your circuitry when it speaks. Mr. Crystal, you hear a computerized voice speak to you through the harmony. Only those that are worthy may enter. or face the whirlwind of 1,000 blades. Those that are true in intent may carry the fell glaive of contagion. And a aperture opens on the wall, which for you, remember, this is how you got in and out of the compound. You just placed your hand in there and you let your intentions be known for what you wanted to do, and then you go. Those that could not were repelled. Some of them did not make it.
I'll turn to the others and nod and step forward. I got this.
Mixie, I'm going to tell you this right before I have Mr. Crystal roll. I am going to do a roll with you two here in just a second. You feel your power source being siphoned off of you towards this thing as you were shorting out a bit. You haven't run into this type of energy source before, but you know that this machine is older and smarter than you, and that scares you. Okay, Mr. Crystal, this is your attack roll. I'm going to tell you what you can roll for it. The skill you can use is Command, Skullduggery, or Weave, depending on what you are trying to show what your intent is to pass. And if at this point in time you would like to do a untold story, this has got a lot of
Yes.
Iliad stuff happening with it.
Yeah, absolutely. Weave mysticism for sure. And yeah, absolutely. Untold story.
Okay.
Yeah.
What would you like? What does this remind you of? How is this setting you up?
I mean, this is unity, right? I mean, this is so close to what, this is some ancient thing that's happening. But it's almost identical to how my people and I would get together in groups and then kind of sort of harmonize together as one. Absolutely. It's an ancient ceremony, but it's almost unchanged today. And this is where I feel most safe and content is when I'm with the others and we combine our harmonizing together.
Who wants to give a twist to that?
There has to be like a purity of this, right? Like there's a amount where this harmony has happened before and you thought that's as good as it can get. This is like tweaked. It's like times 1,000. Like there's just something about this that it's too perfect. You didn't think that it could happen like this. It is supernatural to you, but it is also calling to you and probably scares you what happens when everybody hits this frequency together. Like, what if there are more of you that do it? Like, it just opens up, expands everything you thought that this could do for you. It's huge.
Do you mean this is a positive thing where it opens up new potential, or is it so perfect that nothing will ever be sufficient again? So
Yeah.
which direction are you going, or is it both?
I think you don't know. And the only way you can find out which one of those it is by joining it and being a part of it and getting in on it. But you don't know. It could be really great. It could be too much. And Yeah, you don't know.
I didn't have anything to add. I was just gonna add or just say that. Establish that I don't have a choice to add to this.
Okay. I would like to throw in there that so there's one thing that this thing is, and it occurred to me that it's not necessarily my call to make this, but I'd like to present it. This is what originally I thought I wanted it to be. That this is your first encounter with an oracle. And you think that you don't know that maybe on your compound there was an oracle too that was behind it. Not some ancient Iliad, not some what you thought were the customs of your people being handed down. Well, no, there should be still a lot of that as far as this goes. But this is a living saint oracle who has synthesized the Iliad crystals into its mainframe chips.
Yeah. Yes and yes. Yep.
Okay. Now let's see if you survive the roll. All right. Okay, I got a good one. I don't have any tension points because I just spent them all. So I got an 11. And you were doing a weave roll, right? You were trying to connect with it for your intent. You're on mute if you're trying to.
Thank you. Would this qualify as a duel?
I'm going for either command, skullduggery, or weave.
Okay. Okay.
This
No,
is
that's fine.
depending on what your intent is what you'd
Yeah.
roll.
No. Yep. Yeah. That's a we've mysticism. All right. So yeah, I don't have anything to modify this. So I'm gonna have to spend at least one. Yeah, I'll spend one to survive this.
In your intent, since you're weaving, well, you tell me. You're trying to weave. You're trying to connect with it with your intent of what exactly?
Well, the Iliad are all about harmony and balance and coexistence, and so my goal is understanding. Whatever this thing is, it's ancient and ultra powerful and 1,000 times more perfect pitch than anything I've ever heard against all reason. I just want to understand.
Okay. You merge with what you learn is Saint Common, the last oracle of its kind. At least that's what it thinks. Has been here for quite a bit. Now, for your history books, it's been 3 generations since the rise of the AI prophets that left these oracles behind to monitor the existence basically from in this galaxy. But Saint Common is telling you something different, that it has been here for longer than that, before the rise of the AI prophets. It harmonizes with you and addresses you by name, your true name. And it says, you may enter as the new guardian and carrier of the fell blade. Passageway opens up. You now get to look to see from behind where the passageway what the oracle actually looks like, because that was just a screen panel. It's just a mountain of wires. Nothing smooth, nothing like alien technology. It is cobbled together wires and bolts and hundreds, if not thousands, of crystals from all over the universe are all wired together into one consciousness. As you get to the backside, it can speak to all of you with the flashing different crystals. Um, Mixie, you feel the pull is still there, but it is lessened. The fear is still there. As you enter into this next chamber, into the inner sanctum, you see the corpse of an agent from one of the other vessels that has made it into here. Been just slashed to ribbons. There are 12 Iliad assassins in some sort of stasis, covered in streaks of blood, standing in other just kind of random parts of the room. The holy item of the glaive is in the middle of the room. There's a tunnel that leads back to the main drill shaft that continues out and around, that is not fully collapsed, but it is also guarded by a door controlled by Saint Common. Saint Common opens it for you, is like calling you by your true name, Guardian of the Fell Blade. Go in peace and protect this realm from the oncoming doom. I can only help you from other oracle outlets. Please protect this world. It is worth protecting. All right, Eric, I need you to give me another check.
That's better.
Take 2 points of damage from your
Okay.
wires getting frayed just by being near St. Common. Armor does not protect you from that.
Okay.
However, you passed.
Good. Ugh.
When I connected with the Oracle and
Yes.
I learned just the tiniest bit about it, did I come to understand anything about what it wants and what it needs or what its purpose might be? Is there anything that I could pull other than sort of a little about its history?
So this oracle, all oracles, as you're getting a bigger understanding, since unbeknownst to you, this is probably the second oracle you've actually met, that you've harmonized with, in realizing that, wait a minute, um, they're different. It feels the same in power, but it's different. This one, Saint Common is much more about protecting guardianship. Um, it's chosen Iliads to be the um, conveyors, but honestly, doesn't have to be an Iliad to carry the glaive. Um, just happened to be one. Honestly, he could have been anyone. Ludwig could have grabbed it. Um, but yeah, that's about it that you're pulling from it. Now, upon later meditations, you might get more out of it.
Can I ask a lore question?
Yes.
It mentioned oracle outlets. Do we have I ever heard something like that before?
Yes. Because of your background as a wayfinder, you've traveled the hithers and thithers of this part of the galaxy anyway. And you know that there's other oracles out there, right? There's
Hmm.
you just no one knows how many there are. But there's about like a handful that you know that are out there in this kind of area. And so that's what it means by an oracle outlet. Now, you've heard rumors of people that can travel between oracles by using the weave.
Okay. But it also mentioned that this specific one could communicate with him at other oracle outlets.
Yes, meaning
Okay.
that you can go to another oracle to talk to Saint Common.
Interesting. Okay.
Or you can try and commune with Saint Common by entering into the lace. The lace, though, very dangerous. If you're just looking for information on your local network, no big deal. But if you reach out into the lace to try and get information, there's things in there that you don't want to run into.
Okay.
But you can also contact Saint Common that way.
I think we should go.
Hmm.
Thank you, Saint Common. I'll do my best.
Travel faithfully, Sovereign. It calls you Sovereign again. You've been called that 3 times now as you leave the inner sanctum of Saint Common. Now carrying a holy relic item as you creep deeper into it. Do you wish to still continue your contract, or do you wish to go back to the plunder monkey? Plunder donkey, sorry. Plunder monkey. That's silly.
We have to get to the core, right?
Need to get
Yes.
to the
Core.
core.
We must get to the core.
Need to.
For Gareth.
Wait, what? Okay.
I'll explain it later, but just know for Gareth's sake, we need to get to the core.
Oh, there must be okay. He must want something from there. Got it.
You make it back into the corridor to head further down. You travel along, the glaive glowing a bit as you're carrying it, um, further down until you start to get light coming from the bottom of the shaft. You must be getting closer to lava. This is going to be a good. Oh, I was just going to say, this is going to be a good part to probably stop for the night.
He's just
As-
coming upstairs. I say,
yeah.
oh, nope. Back up.
Sounds
uh,
good.
as we get to it. Now we'll talk a little bit more after this, but I think 2 hours is probably a good way to shoot for it. You come down to the glowing area as you see that it opens up into the inner part of the volcano. There is in the middle, boy, okay, just from what you're looking at, okay, picture a small lake of lava, okay? There are floating islands of solid rock. In the middle of this small lake is an outcropping of rock in metal, kind of shaped like this, coming out of the middle. Rises up maybe 20 feet above the lake of lava. It's covered in broken rock, and you see that this is the terraforming capsule, about 20 feet long. Half of it has been cracked open from the outside. You see wires, computer networking is on, but feebly. You see a bunch of wires that have been connected and reconnected and reconnected. Something has adjusted and changed and rewired this capsule. Okay. Mixie, you have a strong draw to to the capsule itself. The walls of the inner volcano go up, opening up into the night sky. This is what you see for your environment. Let's talk about the things that are in here now. There are there is one. Remember the Steamander that you guys fought was a baby. There is a, let's say adolescent, so not quite a full adult Steamander that's in the pond that has lunged up from out of the lava and has neatly snipped a raider from one of your rival um, ships neatly in half as you hear laser fire shooting back and forth between a handful of other people coming down here to try and get the things. Let's say you took the sensor from Royce. There is a ton of energy coming around the base of the terraformed area, of just a massive amount of energy and heat just coming from that, which may or may not have been the the energy to start the terraforming process itself. There is also a mechanoid sphere with, you're not quite sure. The sphere itself is about this round. Let's say, let's make it about 4 feet in diameter of a circle. It has a yellow eye kind of in the middle of it, and prehensile arms coming from around of it that are ending in different implements that are turning and sniping at different raiders as they're trying to make their way down the inside of the lava thing. These are the people that are coming down here are raiders. These are not explorers. These are the mercenaries hired by the other ships to do like the dirty work to clean stuff out so they can get the people down there to try and do the drilling or get whatever things they need. This thing has turned this like shoots a laser in just this person's body is just vaporized in a moment, just leaving like a shadow of its image on the inside of the laser wall. And finally, you hear the zip, zip, zip. Almost looks like beatific fireworks going off up in the night sky that you can see from through the volcano top, and you can see it like glimmering like those when the fireworks that go off and they're like the glimmering little ones that fall down and make that fizzling sound or whatever as you watch in horror as 6, 7, 8 vessels are in full dogfight combat above this planet. As you're too far away to see, you can kind of recognize what some ships out in orbit from here. As you see a small armada of 3 or 4 vessels have arrived. Ludwika, you have a bad, bad feeling that Raventech was able to answer that warning call a lot sooner than you thought. And what you're seeing up there is just the remnants of the people, and you're not quite sure what side the Warhawks are fighting on at this moment. And I think that's where we'll leave off for the night.
Can I ask one question real quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Ask all the questions you want.
Thing with the arms shooting lasers with an eye. Did I understand that thing correctly? Is that AI? Do I think? Do I have reason to believe that's like an AI of some kind?
Maybe. Yeah,
Okay.
I mean, it appears to be, but without, closer examination, you're not quite sure.
Just wondered if there was, yeah, or if you're just like, no, it just seems like it's detecting movement and shooting at anything that moves.
Oh, gotcha. No, it's flying around. It seems to be under, I mean, it's pretty sophisticated, right? If it's just a robot, it's incredibly sophisticated because it seems to be taking different maneuvers, um, moving through things very quickly. Um, if you'd like, if you want to do stuff and ask questions at this moment before we launch into it for next session, that's fine. So I think this would be a good place to stop because
For sure.
I would like to be able to do this scene and escape or figure out what's going up there next session to finish it all out.
Uh,
um,
can I ask
yeah,
one more question?
yeah.
Did we
All the
close the
questions.
door behind us from the vault?
Yes, yeah. Saint Common took care of that for you. Don't worry about
Okay, I was gonna say, like, I don't think we locked ourselves in or anything. Like we didn't, but
it.
did we close it so it makes it then
Oh, you
a little
mean
longer,
the vault door all the way up to
like
there?
way back
No,
at the temple? No, we
no,
just
you
went
did
in.
because it's only one sided.
Well,
There's
right, but I figured we could at least like close it without locking it. I was just curious if like Raven Tech showed up, if it would be very obvious where we went.
gotcha. Sure. Well,
That's all.
it seems to be that Raven Tech right now has his hands full.
Sure.
Right now. Um, but yeah, that's this adventure or this section of the adventure. If you have any questions um, about anything, is this the sort of stuff that you'd like to see? Um, is Eric doing okay in his new role right now? I mean, how much of it you got to role play so far?
But I was asking for it. That's okay.
Yeah, all right, that's fair.
You know what I mean? That's kind of my penance. That's what I have to deal with before I can get back to being a real boy again. Is I have to be the car for a while. That's okay.
Fair enough. Mr. Crystal, does this give your character more insight? Do you feel a little bit more connected about his backstory? Or is it just like more confused and you're like, I don't know if this is what I wanted to do with him, you know?
I like the cultural and social implications for the character in the Iliad. Yeah, I think that's fantastic. I think it's much bigger than I envisioned for this character, and that's okay, right? Because I mean, he went out in the world in some respects to experience it, and boy, is he ever. Yeah,
Yeah,
well, this is good. I like the depth it's given.
right on. Yeah, that was a kind of a dicey one, and I knew I kind of wanted that prompt for uh your home compound being run by an oracle. I knew I always wanted to put that in at some point in time, but I didn't know if it would ever make sense. But then when you guys put in that all of the Iliad turned towards the red planet when it showed, it's just like, whoa, okay. So then, yeah, let's just make it a direct line from the Iliad to the red planet to the Oracle somehow. So that's fun for me. Does that the Oracle being that old, is that an interesting thing for you guys? Does it help out with the history or past? Or is it just something like, all right, that's cool, but
It makes me think that maybe the AI prophets were a symptom, not a cause of
mm,
something bigger. That maybe they were just a natural offspring of this much more powerful ancient force, entities, race, whatever, sort of species, I guess, whatever it might be.
Like that we're getting into more of that because I don't know, we haven't touched on it a whole lot yet, and so I like the more we can kind of get into a little bit of that kind of history, more into weave kind of stuff. I think that's awesome because we haven't explored it enough yet. So I think it's great.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too, was, like, I really appreciate getting into some of that lore and being able to be like, "Oh, you just said something about Oracle outlets? But tell me more." Like,
Yeah,
being able to really dig into some of that stuff that we really haven't. So, I love it.
yeah. All right, right on. Because does it still feel like honor bound? Does it still feel like the run around, swashbuckling, have fun, do stuff, but then have these like, oh boy,
Like we're definitely leaning stronger into a more traditional sci-fi with this, but I think that it helps shape what comes after it too. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's okay to kind of go back and forth and like this is the Empire Strikes Back of our journey, right? Like it's a little darker, it's a little gritty. Somebody dies. Garrett's in carbonite. Like that's okay.
And
You gotta get
yeah,
this way.
and there's something to be said about, like, the episode versus the season. Like, I don't know, like, it's, just because this one episode might be a little darker or might be less swashbuckly, but I don't think it is. That's not what I'm saying. But, like, the still overarching, like, story and everything that's happening is still falls right into it.
right on. All right, great. That's wonderful to hear because I did go ahead and write the next couple adventures, but I also need to get back to the idea of like we're doing this to try and finish up as the whole story, and we're getting closer to that and closer to that. I don't know if we'll be able to do the next couple adventures, but I the next adventure uh, I mean I've got many adventures already written, but one that I wrote is called Prophet Town, and it gets down to the differences between the the city states and the Grand Alliance. So a town that was once Grand Alliance has now changed over to a free city state. And like, what does that mean? In how are you guys going to go in there as you are hired to do something, provided that we all live, I should say. And you guys are going to be hired basically to be like the sheriffs to investigate something. You're being hired as like detectives. It's more of a mystery, going back to the mystery model, you know. Um, I'm really excited about that. I Aaron knows this from college is that I don't know if he remembers this, but I feel like we bonded over a moment of a movie called Digstown. But I don't know. Now, is this adventure based on that? No, but I got the vibes from it. If you haven't seen Digstown, check it out. It's fantastic. It's got the problematic James Wood in it as the main character. Um, but it's got a lot of heart. It's kind of it feels I think a lot of very similar to what we're doing. You know, he's just kind of this like how wise cracking like, haha, all right, I'm gonna swindle some people or whatever, and then it kind of grows into something more meaningful to what he's doing. Um, yeah. Plus, it's got Lee Gossett Jr. It's fantastic. So there's my plug for Digstown. Um, yeah, we're all, you
How
know,
do you spell Digstown? I tried to type it in to, like, find it on streaming, and it did not come up with what I typed.
It's a Diggs. Got two G's, and it's one word, Digstown.
Oh, there's a movie and there's a series, a TV series called that with 4 seasons. I don't know if they're related to each other, but there is a TV series called Digstown.
I might check that out.
I
Just
don't
you just
know if it's
you
related
just
in
gave me
any
some month
way.
of weekends. That's perfect. Now I'm gonna have to watch all four of them.
It is available if anybody's still watching this is curious. Prime Video, Tubi, and Pluto TV has the movie Digstown.
Nice.
Oh, the TV series is not available on any of the streaming platforms I currently have subscriptions to.
Well, fair enough.
It
Yeah,
exists.
it's a very delightful movie, and it's got I think the exact feel for what we want because it's, you know, you guys are the good guys, and sometimes you just run into something that you're like, oh, maybe this is a little bit bigger than us at times. But you keep doing the good thing, fight the good fight. Yeah. Um, So I hope we get to that adventure. I think it would be a lot of fun. Um, that being said,
Cool.
hey, thank you guys so much for another fun adventure. I know not a lot of action happened in this one, but
We
good
need the
luck for
Lord.
this. Yeah, yeah, we needed a lore one. You're right. This next one's gonna be just chaos, and I hope you guys make it. I really do. Um, if let me ask you this: in the rules that we've seen already, that if you die in the game, there are ways to come back. If everyone dies, though, what do you guys feel is a fair rule? Do you just like, you know what? Everyone then now has to come up with a crazy way that they lived and like they get scars, which I cannot wait. I'm excited for you to see Gareth Carr's new scars. I think it's really interesting. Um, or is it more interesting? Like, look, if there's a EPK, like it was meant to be, man. Or should everyone have a chance to make a comeback? What makes sense to you guys? Because I'm not gonna lie, this is by far the toughest fight that you guys have to go into. That I suspect you'll probably end up doing some stuff and then changing over to a all for one rule to get out of it, is what I'm going to guess is what happens. But what do you guys think? TPKs in on Honorbound or not?
I would think that it would be not individual answers to the problem, but a collective answer. Like, not each the three of us survive in some novel, crazy way, but something happened that affected the whole group. But I don't know if it makes more sense for each person or to
I
come up with their
I
own story.
Mm,
I agree because we're linked. I feel like it should be some linked story of how we all survive. I almost feel like it could be presented like we would present a twist. Like we all get to present what we think our group survival thing is, and we get to like pick as a group or something like that. And if somebody's twist is just that we all died, I mean that's an option. But but yeah, I feel like it could very like you've kind of built it into like we kind of get to pick as a group. Like you've already built it into the mechanics to have a way we all
yeah,
get to.
that's interesting. Eric, were you gonna say something?
Yeah, I mean, I think this you've built this game to be so narrative, and there are so many more ways for us to have interesting stories, and not so many ways to like min max a beefy character who's going to survive a fight. You know what I mean? Like, it's the game's not designed for that. And so if we all die in a big fight, it's like, what's the good story that we can get out of that? You know what I mean? And we might as well find a story that's going to work. And I like the idea that it's a all presenting twists. It could be the best story might be that we all die. Like,
Yeah,
that could be the best story. So I think it's whatever that is, giving the characters, giving the players, all of us a chance to be like, this is what I think, and we can all like think about it, and ultimately you get to pick what the best one is. We vote on it, whatever, But I think we would all probably with us four, we would all agree what the best ending or continuation was. The best idea, I think we could all like get around that, and you keep going because yeah, I mean, if we're just trying to make the best story possible, so
yeah.
long we have an option.
I think that's a really good point that you guys made there. And then maybe like for your like this do the twists of like how you've managed to survive, but each of you can still do your own scars. Like, because each of you are gonna react to how you survived in different ways, And your scar could also be like, I lost an arm, like that. Just like it can be a literal scar too. It can just as long as the scars are different. I don't want everyone to have the same scar. Yeah, I think that's a real good point. I like that a lot. So, no to TPKs. I do want to let you guys know that Will is hard editing to get the final edit of the game done. because we now have someone who's going to do layout, who is going who has done much larger projects than this for like Wizards and for like World of Darkness. They took this on. So yeah, I like to help out like indie people every once in a while. Um, and honestly, I'm going to be moving pretty soon, so this would be a nice little project to do. I was like, yeah, all right, great. Not me, them. Um, and so yeah, it just worked out timing wise. So I do want to let you know one of my rules that I had in the book, not that you guys have the book yet, that didn't make it. I think Eric saw it because he ran a game. Is that when you die, you get the choice to do a heroic death, a what's called a grace, second grace, so you can choose to live, but here's the different things that you have to do to make that happen. And also you can do an ignoble death. And then I had like, you know what, sometimes it's just time for your character to die. You can choose for them just to be dead, and that's fine. And you can also, as you're dying, instead of doing this heroic thing, is that you can say one line of something that's totally uninspiring. And like my favorite one was man, what's up with these hats, right? And they die. Eric's was like, I never really liked you, but that did not make the rule book, unfortunately. And Will is such a tactician when it comes to making sure he doesn't hurt anyone's feelings and like doing his job as the most professional way possible. He's like, I just don't know if this fits the vibe. And I was like, and of course, he typed that out in a very nice way, and I just died laughing on my side. I'm like, I never thought it would make the final draft, but I had so much fun writing it, I couldn't resist.
I'm gonna house rule it if I ever run the game, just so you know. So yeah, for sure.
Oh my God. All right. Well, thanks so much again. Uh, next week, I believe, is still a go for me. And then after that, I got stuff going on, unfortunately. But I will figure out um yeah, those dates. And hey, thanks everyone for playing. Really appreciate it. Have a great night. Bye. Oh, great. Boop, boop,